Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will discuss postmodernism in the context of significant, major and important themes. These are four in number: deconstruction, disintegration, cultural studies and multiculturalism. First of all, deconstruction. Students, I have added two different images to understand the basic concept of deconstruction. Look at the first image carefully and try to get some idea. Also try to dig out the idea or ideas which the artist wanted to present through this very image. And now the second one. I guess you people have got some sort of idea so far as deconstruction is concerned. And now the detail. The term or the word deconstruction is coined by Jacques Derrida, who is a French philosopher, writer and theorist. Deconstruction is based on two different prefixes, de and con. So destruction and construction are the two main words which can be made with the help of these two prefixes. And you can say that deconstruction is the mixture of destruction as well as construction. According to Derrida, it does not mean destruction, but rather it is a critique of the criteria of certainty, identity, and truth. He says that all communication is characterized by uncertainty because there is no definitive link between the signifier. Signifier is spoken word, and the signified, the object or the image to which the word refers. I'm repeating. All communication is characterized by uncertainty because there is no definitive link between the signifier and the signified. Once a text is written, it ceases to have a meaning until a reader reads it. He says that there is nothing outside the text, means there is nothing but the text, and that it is not possible to conceive a meaning for a text using a reference to anything outside the text. So, the text has many internal meanings that are in conflict with themselves. This conflict is called reflexivity or self-referential, and as a result, there is no solid and guaranteed meaning to a text. Students, keep this thing in your mind that when there is nothing outside the text, everything is present in the text and the meanings are different internally and externally. So, we are here to say this reflexivity as well as self-referential concept of deconstruction. Derrida also says that speech is privileged over writing. He says that speech is superior whereas writing is inferior. This concept is further named as binary opposition and then violent hierarchies. The text sometimes is controlled by what is not in it. So we can say that the referents outside the text are not a part of its meaning. Derrida says that texts are not to be read according to which would seek out a finished signified beneath a textual surface. He says reading is transformational. When reading is transformational, you must get the idea that from the beginning of reading some particular text, your mind was at some other meaning. During reading, that mind of meaning changed, and after reading, your meaning or your mind is completely changed. So reading is transformational. While being on the center, you are getting some other meaning of the text, and while decentering from that particular center, the meaning will automatically be changed. For example, if author is the center of the text, he had some idea in his mind while composing that text, and that was one meaning. But when the text in the hands of in the readers and now it is decentered, it means the meanings are different. So meanings are not at all fixed. So far as binary opposition or violent hierarchies are concerned, I can give you the example that they give precedence to the central term. Central term, the first term. and they marginalize the remaining term, meaning the second term. For example, in the example of day and night, day is privileged, day is the central term, and night is marginalized. In the same way, you can say that man and woman. Our central term is man, whereas woman is marginalized term. The last point of deconstruction is related to transcendental universe. Derrida is doubting about the nature of truth because he doubts the ability of language to convey any absolute meaning. There results an impossibility of language to establish a transcendental universal or a universal truth. It is the idea that is often misunderstood as a statement of his rejection of a god. Here he is very near to Nietzsche, and the critics of that time often criticized Nietzsche that he rejected the existence of God. But it was not the same fact as the critics were getting from that particular statement, that God is dead. Rather, according to Derrida, it is a statement that simple languages are incapable of identifying God linguistically. Number 2 is disintegration. For this integration, you must see to these images. How integrated things are disintegrated. And now the second one. I hope you have set some sort of background in your mind related to disintegration. So now get the detail. Disintegration is one of the main outgrowths of postmodernism, and these concepts used to be taken for granted and assumed to be stable. These concepts can include the nature of language, the idea of knowledge, and the notion of a universal truth. The application of deconstruction to the understanding of language itself results in disintegration of that very language. Even these words are not stable in the sense that they cannot convey an unalterable message. Student, the point is very important. The result of this is that once language is destabilized, the resultant knowledge that comes from that destabilized language is no longer a stable product. The end result, therefore, is that there can be no universal truths upon which to base an understanding or a social construct. Disintegration was not at all limited to theory only, but literary works or literature also applied that particular idea in works. So we can quote the example of Thomas Pynchon's Gravity Rainbow, which is considered to be the best example of this very technique. And here authors only we are concerned with Thomas Pynchon, and that he disrupt expected timeline or change points of view and speakers in ways that disrupt and cause disintegration in the very literature they are writing. And in this context, Thomas Pynchon has also disrupted expected timelines and he changed the point of views and as well as speakers in ways and that disrupt the cause disintegration. Disintegration is not only related to the written works, but it is also applied in entertainment section. So we quote the example of television. And in contemporary entertainment, television in particular, there has been a disintegration of the line that separates reality from fiction. Recent fictional dramas have included responses to the terrorist attacks from September 11, 2001. You may call it as 9/11 terrorist attacks. And in other shows, television shows from the last quarter of the 20th century, contemporaneous events have been included in the storylines. Discussions of the political and social events of the Nixon years. Nixon was the 37th US president, and these were a mainstay of the show All in the Family. And during the 1992 presidential campaign, there was a generous use of material from the Murphy Brown show and real political conversation. In these and other situations, the reality and fiction line was blurred significantly. The third theme is cultural studies. This is one of the major impact of postmodernism on the structure of college and university courses, and that the multiculturalism or the cultural studies have sorted out the courses for university and college studies. These are sometimes directly related to specific areas on the planet, like for Eastern studies, South American studies, or conglomerate areas such as Pan African studies, and sometimes to specific focus groups like gay lesbian studies, women studies, Chicano studies. Most of the times, these studies are not limited by political concerns and boundaries, but are economically and socially organized, a major concern expressed in the writings of Jameson, Eagleton, and other Marxist critics. Now, look at the image. This image will help you a lot in understanding the cultural studies because this is related to cultural theories, cultural constructions, and hegemony. The last theme, major theme, is multiculturalism. Uh, it is a combination related to the specific interest of the areas into one area of study. You may say that the aspect of multiculturalism is combining specific interest areas into one area of study. This aspect of postmodernism broadens the experience of college students through the study of literature and history of peoples from other parts of the world. Here, peoples are representing nations, and this word is used only specifically for nations. Classes whose structures combine sometimes disparate elements are found in these new departments. For example, a study of prisons and prison literature might be combined with literature from third world countries under the broad label of literature of the oppressed. Third world countries are the oppressed countries because people are not having the basic facilities of life. They are narrow minded, they are suffering from different sorts of problems like poverty, overpopulation, and they are also facing a sort of severe and drastic problem of financial crisis. That's why these narrow mindedness and financial crisis are being mixed together to produce the literature of the oppressed. Cultural studies may also include topics such as Arab American studies or women in European literature. This was all about the major or significant themes of postmodernism, but there are some minor themes as well. But first, look at the images which are related to multiculturalism. In this image, you people are having uh, different people from different cultures, but they are shown over here as a compact whole. Again, this image is related to multiculturalism, and they are all in one shown in this particular image. Now, the other themes are the minor themes like irony and playfulness, black humor, a dark comedy related to some serious aspect of human life, paranoia, unjustified suspicion and mistrust, metafiction, no absolute truth, minimalism, meaning simple, massive form of art and painting, skepticism, a doubtfulness, pluralism, or coexistence, and constructivism. All these minor themes are often highlighted in different works by different writers. This was all about the themes of postmodernism. Thank you very much for listening.